We are currently hanging out in the barn with Gabby. We'll probably keep this live a little bit shorter than the rest, but I figured why not come on and say hello. It is another windy day, but it is another hot and beautiful day. And so Gabby is chilling in the barn trying to stay cool. And yeah, she's just out here trying to enjoy herself. So I figured why not come on here and say hello to all of you fine folks. Gabby's having a fantastic day. It's beautifully warm out there. The hay is good. The grass is good. The sun is good. And she's just having a chill moment midday here. It's 2:40 p.m. up here in northern Canada, and she is just relaxing, enjoying the cooler spot. In the barn here, it's probably 10 degrees cooler than it is out there in the sun. And so we're just having a little barn hangout. Isn't that right, Gabby? Isn't that right? Some flies are bugging her right now, but she's happy. She's happy. Hope all of you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday. Yeah, I don't know. What's going on in the world, guys? You guys tell me what's going on. What's in the news? I know I saw somewhere earlier people talking about Mars, some developments up there. But down here on Earth, things are pretty chill on the homestead. Had some friends come over. We had a little visit this morning. And otherwise, we've just been kind of relaxing, taking it easy, and enjoying ourselves out here on the farm. Let's go closer to Gabby and see what she's doing. Hey, Gabby. Hello. This is the Gabby cam. Chilling with the cow. Trying to stay out of the wind, eh, Gabby? Nice and breezy out. Nice and breezy. Oh, beautiful day. Isn't that right, Gabby? Do you want to say hi to the camera, girl? No. I know, the flies kind of drive you crazy, don't they? They're not too bad right now. See how she just kicked up that straw onto her? That's just a way for her to cool down and to kind of deter the flies from hanging out. So she'll kick up her legs every once in a while, throw some straw around. Georgia, how you doing? How you doing? We are just chilling in the barn, having a quick hangout. It's pretty blustery out today. And Bogey says, do you have a PayPal? No, I don't use PayPal. I do not use PayPal. We are just chilling in the barn right now. It's a beautiful day. Let me show you outside, but it is blustery. I'm glad for the wind, because without it, it would be a scorcher out here. But yeah, it is beautiful. I agree, Georgia. It is hot where we are too. If it wasn't for that wind, it would almost be unbearable. In the barn here, it's probably a cool 20 degrees, nice and relaxing. And Bogey says, do you have a credit card? I have several. So yeah, we're just chilling in the barn with our cow right now. Georgia says, we have no wind where we are. She is quite windy where we are. I need to adjust the camera. Sorry, guys, 1 second. There we go. Yeah, it's a beautiful day out, but a little hard to live stream out with the other animals right now because that wind is picking up and it destroys the audio. Otherwise, the iPhone does a really good job of blocking out background noise and try to filter it out to make the stream bearable, but it can certainly get noisy. Isn't that right, Gabby? Let's Bogey says, how much is this animal price? So how much is Gabby worth? So Gabby is a 2-year-old black Angus cow. She's currently pregnant. If she wasn't pregnant, she would be worth around $5,000. Being pregnant, probably closer to $6,500. She is around a $6,500 animal. She's a beauty. Isn't that right, Gabby? You're pretty. You're a pretty cow. She's also very well loved, and so we will kick some fresh straw over and we'll go say hi to Gabby. Let's have a little hangout. Now we're in a barn, so it's always kind of gross to sit in a barn, but let's just give her a little snuggle and say hello. Oh, so here's Gabby. She's a gentle giant because well, we've bottle fed her. We've trained her from just a young little girl. And so we can get nice and close and give her some love. Mills Ranch & Co. says, how new is that barn? So this barn here, I actually repurposed it off of another property. This barn was rotting out, and so I had to, well, let me give you a better tour while we're talking about it. So it's small. We're probably about 16 feet by 16 feet, somewhere in there. And this building here, I actually tore it down from another property and relocated it. That's why there's a seam here from where I took the skill saw and ripped down. The bottom foot was rotten out all the way around. It had a floor and the floor was caved in. But I looked at the bones of the building and I thought, you know what? This is salvageable. There is still a lot of good meat and bones on here. This is some old rough cut lumber. None of the actual wood itself is rotten. It's all solid. And so I cut it into several pieces, relocated it out to my place, and then rebuilt it. And I'll tell you, rebuilding a barn is a lot harder than doing it from scratch, because you got to get all those puzzle pieces back together, re-square up all of your trusses, reline all the walls up. It was a lot of work, but I was able to save the building itself. The roof was also a little rotten. I got to redo the siding still, but we cut her down. The roof was a little rotten. I need to reframe this section of the roof. I need to put a ladder in there, basically bracing so that it stops sagging. I started metal roofing it. I built an addition off the side, started metal roofing it, then realized I got to fix that sag before I keep coming over. But it already has an asphalt roof, so it's not like, or a shingle roof, so it's not like it's leaking. But yeah, this is built another lean-to off of this side just for where we milk our goat. And here's the barn. So how new is it? I mean, it's 2 years old. It's been here for 2 years, but the building's probably 25 years old. We might, there's the old stamps on the sheathing. So if I look around here, I might be able to find a date that's legible, and that would tell you how old the barn actually is. But a lot of this is pretty worn out. I don't know. I'm not seeing the date stamp. Possibly 2002. Possibly 2002. So 23-year-old barn, potentially. It might be older. But that's kind of what it's looking like. How much does a goat cost? And Scott says, she's like, he's talking to himself again. Yeah, she probably thinks I'm a little bit crazy. Gabby, let's get this straw away from your face. Let's get that out of your eye. Poor girl. There you go. There you go. How much? Oh, a goat is worth around $150 to $200 for a goat. We have 9 of them. A bunch of them were born on the property. What state am I in? We are in northern Canada. We are in northern Canada. Dawn says, didn't you learn your lesson, DK? DK says, what are you doing watching cows, Pelton? What are you guys doing? I hope everyone's having a good time and not getting too rowdy here. And Cranjus says, why are they suffering? Who's suffering? Who is suffering? Gabby's happy as can be. Gabby's chilling. She's just lying down in the barn because it's hot outside. It's a really hot day. And so Gabby girl here is just resting. She's just getting out of the sun and having a good chill session. She's just kind of napping here. Gabby is 2 years old, Black Angus cow, and she's currently pregnant. We should have a baby in the spring. Baby cow in the spring. Yeah, so everyone's happy in here. Beautiful day out, but as you can see by the reflection in the sun, it is a smoke show out here. It is hot, hot, hot. There's a nice light breeze. The ducks are coming out to say hello. Here are some ducks. Maybe we'll go hang out with them, but it's so windy out here. And yes, she is beautiful. She's a good girl. She's a good girl. She wants to get out of the sun right now because it is so hot out there. You can see she's kicked up some straw on herself to keep the flies down. But she's just having a jolly good time. Is she your only heifer? She is right now. We've had a total of 3 cows. 2 of them went to freezer camp. We're using her as a breeder. And next month, in October, we are getting 2 more. She's a Black Angus. We're going to get 2 Shorthorns. And contrary to the name Shorthorn, they are a polled cow. A polled cow means they have no antlers or horns. You know what I mean. And so we're going to have 3. She's pregnant, and we're getting 2 more heifers. We'll breed them next year. And so then hopefully we can keep a steady supply of cattle being born on the homestead. I would like to get up to 7 female cows, maybe 1 bull. Right now, my closest neighbor is a couple miles away. Right now, we use their bull for breeding, but it'd be nice to have our own once it makes sense. For now, we are just whoring her out. So, yeah. And Nibby says, so you have this cow for hobby? So she is a breeder, so she is pregnant right now. And so we will be having a baby off of her. And then whether we decide to sell off that baby or raise it for 1.5 years for meat is hard to say at this point. We're getting 2 more heifers. Ideally, what we would like to get to a point, I would like to get to a point where we could be producing maybe 2 cows on the homestead for our own family use for 1 year, and then any surplus for resale. Matthew says, hey, how's it going, everyone? Glad to see you guys here. Glad to see you here as well, Matthew. And Cinnabar, the Lombok, says hi. How you doing? So we are just, we're having a little barn hangout right now. It's super hot out, super windy. So I figured hanging out in the barn with Gabby would be a good idea. Stay out of the wind. Hopefully keep the audio audible. So yeah, hope everyone's having a fantastic Tuesday. And Dawn says nice. So yeah, we have, for those who are new here, we've got the cow. We're getting 2 more. We have ducks, chickens, rabbits, and we were doing pigs. We just butchered them. So we're gonna do year-round breeding pigs next year. This year was just for meat. And I think I'm shopping at an auction this coming weekend for a donkey, but ideally I'd like to get a donkey by this time next year. And then, yeah, at that point we will have, you know, our 2 breeding pigs plus our hog, probably a couple extra for that year's meat. And then we will also have our 3 cows, donkey, the ducks, the chickens, the rabbits. It's quite the little homestead. I'll flip you guys around to Gabby while I catch up with the chat. And Nibby says, I know, but in Poland, a farmer needs 100 or more to make a living. That is true. That's kind of, so I wouldn't say you necessarily need 100 to make a living up here in Northern Canada. But definitely a lot of farmers tend to have between 40 and 70. Once you get over 70, you're making a good living. But around that 40 to 70 is enough that you're feeding your family and coming away with some profit. A lot of guys who do large-scale cattle also do a bunch of hay. So they have a bunch of fields that they'll hay. Are you okay, Gabby? So that horking you're hearing from her, it's because they have 2 stomachs. They eat the grass, it goes into one stomach, it digests, and then they regurgitate it, and then they chew what's called cud. They re-chew it, swallow her down. Dawn and Daniel are having a scrap in the chat. And Ghostface is saying, rip Charlie. So yeah, say 100 cow is accurate. This is just a hobby farm. And so we're on this farm, we produce enough meat and milk, cheese, yogurt, stuff like that, and eggs to feed our family. However, we aren't producing enough right now for large-scale resale, so it is just a hobby. Matthew says, I've seen the uncensored video of the shooting and he had absolutely no chance to survive. I'm shocked. I know, it was a devastating situation. And Nibby says, nice, I like it. Referring to the animals, not the Charlie situation. Let's take a little walk. Let's take a little walk over here. Dawn, do you and Daniel know each other? Y'all are getting scrappy in the chat. I feel like you're following each other around. That seems like you guys know each other. This feud seems personal. You know what they say, love, not war. I think you guys need to make love with each other. Here is our rooster, one of our roosters, and a chicken. Ah, the goats came out to say hello. Let's go see the goats. And bro keeps following me around. Dawn, how does that even work? I've seen that with other people, but how does that work? How do people know what channels and where you are? How do people follow you? I have no idea how that works. They can't be IP spoofing you or anything weird. Here's some of the goats. This is Maple. She's a little more skittish because she's half fainter goat. And so she tends to be a little more quick to move. A little Basti is covered in thistles. Where'd you go, buddy? Where'd you go that you got covered in thistles? I'm gonna have to clean you up later. Then there's Mimi. Don't mind the scrap wood pile. My kids collect my scrap wood from projects and they try to build things with it. And then the goats come and break their buildings. Evie, what you doing? What you doing? Oreo's chilling in the back. Happy Chicken says hello. We got Noe sitting over here. She's got a few thistles on her too, eh girl? Let's just clean you up a little. I know, that doesn't feel great. And we got the lake out here. Let's go have a little sit on the deck and chat with you guys for a hot minute. And we'll see where we go from there. Dawn says, I love your goats. Thank you. They're like puppies. They're wonderful. Let's spin our chair around and we're out of the wind over here, so it's nice. And Dawn says, it's tough being an alpha, but he is a cow. And Matthew said, people follow me definitely. And Dawn says, I don't know. DK is probably my little brother. And I love your goats. And Matthew says, some what on him? Oh, thistles. Thistles. The goats had some thistles. They're like spiky, the spiky seeds of certain plants. And Daniel, I feel like Daniel's being less kosher than Dawn, so I'll hide him. And Sonny Dixon says, hello from Pennsylvania, awesome farm. Welcome back, Sonny. I hope you're doing well. And Dawn says, I want to have a farm with everything you are raising. I cannot avoid. Oh, chickens are just popping out from under the house. Yesterday on live stream, we caught a chicken eating a mouse, so that was kind of fun. Hi, chickens. Dude, where'd you guys go? Orion, you're covered too. So Orion and Bast over there, they are part silky goat. That's why they have the long hair. They're part silky goat. And they pick up thistles like no tomorrow. Compared to, Mimi over here, who's a mini Nubian. She's a mini Nubian. And she's got like one on her forehead and one on her body. But she's got that shorter hair, so they don't stick to her as much. And Dawn said, I had like 60 chickens for eggs. Let's go over to the chickens and ducks. Let's go say hi to them. We have about, what do we have? Like 35 poultry in total between the chickens and the ducks. I mean, the chickens free range, so they're a little everywhere. The ducks are a little more contained. So let's go say hi to them. And Happy Chickens, if you guys like chickens, go check out Happy Chickens YouTube channel. They have quite the setup for theirs as well. We're gonna sneak through here. We'll come over here and say hello to the ducks. I think the ducks are in their house right now because it's hot out. And so they're chilling in their house. Hey guys, if I open the door, are you guys all gonna run out? Oh boy. It's like like parting the Red Sea over here. Here's all the ducks being ducks. We got 4 different types of ducks. Dawn, I find the ducks easier than the chickens, to be honest. I find them easier. So we've got a Pekin duck. This is your standard duck. This is what most people have for ducks. A Pekin duck. We've got a couple apple yards. We've got some buff Orpingtons. And then a bunch of Anconas. So we hatched these guys from eggs. And yeah, they're a really cool looking duck. Satyam Maraut says, I'm from India and I have 3 cows and 15 chicken and 5 goats. Well, we are very similar. I have currently 1 cow. I've had 3, but I have 1. I'm getting 2 more next month, so we'll be at 3. I have 9 goats, and I believe I've got 14 chickens and like 20 ducks. And I also have rabbits. And I did do pigs, but they're in the freezer. Dawn says, what type of duck? So it's Appleyard, Pekin, Buff Orpington, and Ancona. So I got 4 different types over here. And then I've got 3 different types of chickens. Here, don't worry about it. We will just do this. We'll put Daniel, we'll lock Daniel away. See, at least Dawn's just here to have a conversation and chit chat. So Daniel can watch, but he's now timed out. Some people's children, eh, Dawn? Some people's children. Can't live with them, can't live without them. We're gonna go back and hang out with Gabby because it's too hot out here. This little throughway is my feed shed. So I gotta remember always to lock it behind me so the goats don't wreak mayhem in there. Bear with me while I lock it. You know what we could do? We could go say hi to the rabbits as well. Since we've stopped by everyone else, let's go say hi to the rabbits. It is windy out here. It's wreaking havoc on my audio. Okay, into this shelter is where the rabbits live. And there we go. Rabbits. Some baby bunnies for you guys. And Matthew, when we go visit the goats next, I'll show you those thistles. They're just, there's 2 different types, but they're just like thicky seeds that cling on from weeds, different weeds. And Dawn says, DK is Diddy Kong. I'm the King Kong, but I appreciate y'all putting him in a corner for punishment. DK likes being punished. You guys have an interesting relationship. I feel like there's more love than hate. You know, it's just some flexing in public, but you guys, you know, you remind me of my wife and I. Just kidding. But yeah, these are our bunnies. They're cute. They're all just kind of chilling. These bigger ones, these guys here, they're probably about, I want to say they're about 6 to 8 weeks old. 8 weeks old. And then Big Mama over here, she's probably 2 years old. And Willard says, cook one. That is what we do, my friend. And Happy Chickens is saying, hello and cute. And Dawn says, I've never met or spoke to DK. And Dawn says, rabbit poop is the best fertilizer. That is true. We actually had a friend stop by today. I mucked out this barn, this coop. And so what I did is we mucked out this coop. This is where the rabbits were. And then we threw diatomaceous earth down to kill any pests. And then once this dries out for a couple days, we'll put fresh straw in here. And then we'll next time this one gets dirty, we'll move them back over. And so we just kind of flip them back and forth. No ego saying hearts in the chat. But we had a friend stop by today because they knew that we were cleaning out that pen. And they collected the fertilizer for their garden. So it's always nice to reuse that. Let's go back to hang out with Gabby. Oh, we're standing now. We're having a stand up. So here's Gabby. And Dawn says, D-earth is amazing. Diatomaceous earth is really cool. I mean, it's what the mummies in Peru, the aliens in Peru were mummified in, was diatomaceous earth. It's really good for all sorts of mites, just different pests and parasites, external parasites, because it dehydrates them, makes it an uninhabitable environment. So it's nice to throw it in the straw. We get the food grade stuff, so it's safe if the animals do consume any of it, but it helps keep everyone clean and happy. And Dawn says it is the best ant killer. And Willard said, do you poop in there too? I would. No, I haven't. Maybe I should. It would be weird because I take all of this. You know what's funny? Oh boy, she's peeing out a fountain over there. Sounds like Niagara Falls. It's a full-on river flow. Holy man, Gabby. Anyway, as I was saying, there are people who use composter toilets and reuse that soil in their gardens. For some reason, it doesn't feel weird to take fertilizer from your animals, break it down into soil, and then use that for your garden. But to use your own does seem a little weird. And Matthew says, if it's what I think, we called them pick because it clings on clothes and hair and it's spiky. I probably have some over here. Do I? Let me see. I'm trying to see if there's any growing on this plant here. I'm not seeing any. Matthew, to ease your mind, we're gonna go see the goats so I can show you the thistles so you know exactly what we're talking about. And yeah, Gabby's a really good cow. Oh, the goats want to say hi. So, Matthew, these guys right here are some of the thistles. There's a couple different kinds, but these guys here, stuck all over his hair. They're just like the spiky little ends of a plant. I believe those are actually the seeds, and the reason they're designed to stick like that is so that the animals walk through them and spread them all around, just like he's doing. And Dawn says, there is a lot of fertilizer that uses human dung for the nitrogen. You would be surprised. I mean, I'm not that surprised. I know people who have used composter toilets and then they use that. Come on in, guys. And they've used that in their gardens. It's just not for me. It's just not for me. Natural Velcro, you got it. Everyone coming in? Hi, Faye. Evie, are you going to get left out or are you coming in? Oreo. Are you coming in, Oreo? Faye, are you coming or staying? Come on, Faye. Or Evie. Sorry, wrong goat. Gotta keep their name straight. Are you coming in? Come on, girl. Good girl. Oreo, you can come too. She's got them all in her little beard. And nitrogen is a protein, so human poop should be pretty good. There's nothing weird about it. We are animals just like they are. And Willard says, what do you think sewer treatment stuff goes? Where do I think? Oh boy. Are you coming in, Elsa? Come on. No goat left behind. Evie, stay. You're gonna lose a head. You're gonna lose your head. You're gonna lose your head. She lost her head. Good girl. We'll close the gate. We'll hang out in here for a bit. Well, I have a septic with a drainage field, so my manure goes back into the lawn and fertilizes the grass. I've tested my well. It doesn't go into my well. There's a chicken. Hello, chicken. what are you doing up here? Can I catch a chicken? You want to peck it? No? You want to fly away? I'll let you go. And Dawn says, I bet Daniel already left. She was probably very upset. Do you think Daniel's a girl and not a boy? I assume Daniel's a boy. And Dawn Pelton says, you were right, Willard. Matthew says, once or twice a year, only they can't more. I'm out of context, sorry. Willard said, I would usually give a little bit of grain in a metal bucket and whack the handle on the metal bucket so you don't have to invite them all in. Seems like a lot of time. They were standing by the gate. I was going to let them just free range in the yard, but they were standing by the gate, so I figured I might as well let them in. Yeah, the animals definitely train well to a bucket. Gabby can be a handful. If I had it once where I was moving my goats around. I had Gabby out in this far back field, like this side, way back there. And the goats were over here, and I was trying to call them over, and so I used a bucket, and I started banging the bucket with grain. Gabby heard it way down there. She came stampeding down. The gate was closed. She tried to go over the gate, got stuck. I then had to lift her off of the gate because she was like suffocating because, you know, obviously she can't go over that metal gate. And it was a big ordeal. It was a big thing. She's going out that way. And here's Faye. Faye is an Alpine Toggenburg goat. And yeah, she produces a ton of milk. It's a low butter fat, so it's not the tastiest milk, but we use it for yogurt and cheese. So this is Faye. Her baby is Elsa, who is that one back there, right there. That's Elsa. And this is Evie. Evie, you've got a thistle on your eyes. There you go. Is that better? The goats are a lot like puppies. They're a great animal. Oh boy. Sorry guys, we're in and out of Wi-Fi. So if I'm lagging on you or dipping out, it's because I've got the Starlink in the house and we're a little bit far. And I want to get a goat for milk and for meat. We have done, so the pygmy goats are bred for meat. The other ones are bred for milk. The meat's okay. I don't mind the meat. But you really got to season it well because otherwise it will have a bit of a goaty flavor. A lot of times you'll do like a buttermilk goat, something like that, or a curried goat. And then as far as like these mini Nubians, like Evie back here, they have like a 5 to 7% butterfat milk. And so their milk is fantastic for drinking. Super creamy, super tasty. And Matthew said, missed my last comment. Matthew had said sewer manure. So Matthew was saying sewer manure. And the goats are getting upset. They weren't actually getting upset. This guy was getting frisky. So this is our breeder. This is our boy. And when he lets out those bleats, when he lets out those calls, it's because he's trying to attract the females. Phil, the Swiss Vapor. How you doing, Phil? I hope you're doing well today. We are just chilling with the cow and the goats, having a beautiful sunny day. It's a little bit windy out here. I really need to pick up this saw. It's probably not the safest thing to just be leaving lying around in a tree. Let's just pick that up and take that back. We'll put that away. So anyway, yeah, everyone's just having a jolly good time. I hope everyone here is having a good day. Happy Chickens is saying hi all. And Dawn said, I saw your last comment, Matthew. Evie here, she is the most like a puppy. She's the one that will be at your hip. If you sit in a chair, she tries to jump in the chair with you. She is the first to come, last to go. She is a good girl. And then our boy here is just covered in the thistles. And Gabby thinks I got treats out because all the goats are gathered by me. She says, where's the treats, Dad? Where's the treats? Where's the treats? Sorry, Gabby, no treats right now, but maybe I will get you some. Why don't I put the saw away? We'll put the saw away and we'll go get some treats. we'll put the saw away and then we'll go get some grain, oats and molasses. We'll come back and we'll give everyone a treat. Evie here, when she sees me go at the gate, she tries to jump through it. I don't know if she's gonna try this time. Often what happens is she tries to jump through this hole and she can get right over and I have to like block her and push her back. So we'll see. I think she's gonna stay. Take a little walk. We're gonna get rid of this saw and then we're gonna grab some treats. And you only have one cow. Currently I only have one cow. I've had a total of 3. 2 of them are in the freezer. Gabby, we're breeding, so she will stick around for a long time. We're getting 2 more heifers this fall, next month. And so those heifers will also become our breeding stock. So yeah, we've had some cows. We've ate them, and now we're trying to get into breeding them. So we're gonna hang our saw up in here somewhere. Over here seems like a good spot. And for those who are new, this is my off-grid homestead. So this is my old antiquated technology that powers my house. The batteries are all underneath my tools. They're all in here. And this bad boy does a lot of the work of the homestead. This big girl over here who caught fire on us once and was a jolly good time. This old diesel generator, this is what powers the house. So let's turn off the lights, close up the door, and we are gonna go grab some treats for the animals. And a lot of factories still have the tech, not too shabby, bro. And can I put my home on your land, said Surrealist. I do plan to build a second house out here in about 3 to 5 years. The current house that I have, it was, when I bought it, it was a seasonal camp. And so we stripped her down to the joists and the studs, and we spray foam insulated her, put her back together, redid all the water lines, redid all the drywalling, everything, and we put her back together. So now that house is in good working order, and we will look towards building a new house on the property. And then this one can become an Airbnb rental. So let's grab some treats. Bear with me. I'm gonna open up the, what's my light got going on here? Some oats and molasses. Super sugary, fairly nutritious. It's corn, oats, molasses. Honestly, it'd probably be a nice treat for us humans too. Let me just lock up the feed shed. And let me take you guys for a little gander. Now the animals are gonna wanna push me because I got the treats, they want it. So we're gonna go in there and we're gonna try to do this holding everything. So let me in. Evie, you just snuck out. You don't want out, I got treats here. Okay, Gabby, everyone give me some space. Oh boy. This way, settle down, girl. Okay, here you guys go. Let's spin you guys around so I can catch up on the chat. This is empty, girls. We'll just set the bucket down, but it's empty. And Dawn says, I want to make a farm like this in Florida. Nice. I'm up here in northern Canada. It is not the easiest. Our winters get to minus 45, but you know, because it is not the easiest, land is affordable and it's cheap. It's cheap. And Dawn said, bro, that's smart. An Airbnb pays back for your time and yummy treats. And yes, John says hi. Hi, John, how you doing? Everyone is just mowing down. The chickens will probably come over once they realize what I did, because they like to pick up the seeds and the smaller stuff that the goats and the cow don't bother with. Yeah, everyone's just enjoying some treats. Gabby, the bucket's empty, girl. You're missing out. All the treats are where you just were. You just had them. They're right there. And Dawn says, fair enough, Canada is a great place for a homestead. Yes, we are in the far north. Like I said, we're off grid. And so we're in the far north. Super cold up here, but it makes everything worthwhile when the weather is nice like this. And Satyam says, pretty cow. She is a pretty girl. And Happy Chickens says, hi cow. Last week I had this sea can delivered to my house right there. And I plan to build a structure off of it, put another penned-in barn on that side of it. I gotta angle it, I need to spin it still. And then I'll build another barn off this side. The other side will be for dry storage for all the toys and for the firewood. My house is heated exclusively with wood. So yeah, we need to store that wood in a dry place. Russell says, the glory of the Lord shine in the heavens. Look up and see his glory. It is windy out here, guys. How is the audio? Are you guys picking up a lot of that wind on the audio, or is it not too bad? And Happy Chicken says, amen. Hi, Gabby girl. You're bored of it? Is it too much work for the rest? So the goats can have it? She's given up on it. You could tell that Faye is the alpha goat by the way Mimi just took off. Now, Orion's the boy, and so he's not scared of anybody. But Faye is the queen bee. When Faye comes in wanting the treats, everyone runs. You can kind of tell the rough age of a goat based on the size of their horns. So she is 4 years old, hence the longer curved horns. Elsa over here is about 5 months old, smaller horns. Noe here is about a year and a half, 2 years old. And Mimi over there is 2.5 to 3 years old. And she is 3.5. And Dawn said the audio is amazing. Happy said not too bad. Dawn says, do you have any solar powered energy sources? I've just got these solar panels over here, so not too much. And then a bunch of my accessories. Like I've got a few extra solar panels kicking around for the winter over there, hiding back there. I use solar panels for my electric fencing. This is what's recharging the batteries for the house. Probably when I build the lean-to barn, I'll have to think about it a little bit. The sun is behind us, hence the angle of the panels. But I wouldn't mind taking advantage of more of the roof space on the barn for more solar panels. Hey girl, is that good water? Oh boy. This is our automatic waterer. So it's got like a toilet float underneath there. And when they drink down, it lowers, activates the pump, and it refills automatically. So the animals always have access to water. And Matthew said, there's not a new law about wood fire stove. There's not a new law about wood fire stove. What do you mean, Matthew? I heat the house. So I have a propane backup tank that's mostly for the hot water. But that chimney up there, that is for the wood stove. And so we heat with wood stove. I've got only about 3 cords of wood cut so far. To make it through our winters up here in Canada, I'm going to need closer to 10. But like I've said, for those who are new to the channel, I had a spinal surgery 3 weeks ago. And so lately, the last 3 weeks, the live streams have more been just hanging out with the animals, but usually we're doing something. Usually we are fixing some fencing or securing, the roof on the barn, or we're cutting firewood. Normally we're doing something, but I had spinal surgery 3 weeks ago. And so this is as far as I got with my wood supply. Some kindling, some extra cut wood here, and a couple more over there. But I need like 3 times this amount of wood if I'm gonna make it through our cold winters. So I am nowhere near ready for winter. But I had spinal surgery, and so I can't do any bending, lifting, or twisting for another 3 weeks. So yeah, often this time of year, we spend a lot of time on live stream. Let's catch that lake in the background. Often this time of year, we're spending a lot of time splitting firewood on live stream. We're gonna have to be busting our tail in another month. Once I'm well enough to split firewood again, we're gonna have to go hard because winter's right around the corner. Up here in northern Canada, the snow starts to stay on the ground at the end of October. And Matthew says they want to forbid fire wood stoves. You know what's fascinating about that and drives me crazy? So logging, forestry is a big industry up here in northern Canada. It's all forest around us, and so forestry is huge. But what they do is they'll go through a slash pile and they'll cut down a bunch of trees that they want for pulp and paper. And anything they don't want, if it's too crooked, too bent, whatever, they pile it all up into these giant piles. These giant piles, each one of these piles is enough wood to heat a house for a year. What do you think they do? Do they allow people to go and harvest that wood? No, what they do is they burn it. And so they will go and they will just light those piles on fire, burn it down to ashes to get rid of it. Now, they put restrictions on burning wood for wood heat because they don't like the carbon emissions, but then they go and burn all this wood in the bush all the time. If you think about the forest fires, I know if you're in the northern states, you've seen some of the forest fires from up here in Canada because the wind will push it south. You see how much smoke comes off? Are we really worried about the odd person who's burning wood to heat a house when we have these massive forest fires that do like 200 years worth of burning in a day? I mean, it's all a farce. It's all baloney, in my opinion. If more people were burning wood to heat their houses, there'd be less standing timber, meaning less forest fires. I think it's a good thing, but instead, nature's gonna nature. And Dawn had said, follow the doctor's orders. We are taking it easy. Jaden said, hey, how's it going today? We're doing pretty good, Jaden. Welcome back to the chat. Larry says hi. And Kathy says, take care of yourself. If there is any people out there that could help him, please, God bless, from Nebraska. Thank you, Kathy. I do have a wife and 5 kids. They were a godsend for getting what I have done here stacked for me into the tote, so it wasn't just lying on the ground. We still have some time. The amount of wood I have here will get me to into December. It'll get me into December, but the coldest months are yet ahead, so we're gonna have to do a lot more splitting. One of the nice things is I bought a tracked skid steer because I knew my back was bad and I was trying to stay ahead of it blowing out on me. It still blew out on me and I needed surgery anyway, but I bought a tracked skid steer because a lot of the time when I'm doing firewood, it's a lot of bending down and cutting the wood, doing it down at ground level, bending down, lifting it up, putting a support under it, then cutting it and moving it and dragging it. So the nice thing about the skid steer is I can just use the clam bucket, the claw bucket, grab the wood, lift it up and cut it all standing. I don't have to bend over anymore. So that is gonna make life so much easier. And Sandra says, love your hat, and you're exactly right. Thank you, Sandra. And Dawn says, Canada is the next frontier. Dawn says, burning certain trees in the forest makes new seeds for the new baby trees. And Dawn says, controlling fire burning is a big aspect, helpful for your natural environment. Controlling fire burning, yeah, and the problem is up here we don't have enough resources to control those kind of burns, and so often our forest fires go out of control and they take up tens of thousands of acres, and we send the pollution down south. I'm sorry guys, it is what it is. This summer we didn't have blue skies for almost all of the spring and summer because there were so many forest fires up here in northern Canada. And Sandra says, shoot, busy family. You better treat your wife like a queen. She is an angel. She is an angel. Right now, she took the kids out to a friend's place. And so they're out visiting right now. So that's why we are on here. Normally, guys, for those who are new, normally our live streams would happen in about 4 hours from now. So whatever time it is in your local time, jump ahead 4 hours. Normally I wait till after supper once my kids are in bed. Once my kids are in bed, then I'll jump on live stream. Not every night, usually 3 to 5 times a week. And then you can also catch some of our YouTube shorts and our longs. For my long form videos, you're gonna see different guides about the animals, homesteading life, some of the builds we've done, a lot of foraging. We've got a lot of forest here, so we do a lot of edible mushroom guides. And then for the shorts, it's just fun, entertaining information. Maybe a cute animal thing or a fun, you know, like I had a horntail, a wasp or a wood wasp. And so it's a cool bug, something you don't see every day. So I got a close up of it, you know, stuff like that. So you'll get content like that in our shorts and guides in our longs, and then just good chill hangout conversations in our live streams. And Dawn said, do you know the guy who does the Wild Homestead channel? I've seen Wild Homestead. I've watched some of their content. You know, sometimes when I watch these really big YouTube stars, it makes me feel small. And that's okay. It's a humbling thing for the ego. But like, I have 340 videos up between long, short, and live streams. And I think we've had about 600,000 views on the channel. We're monetized. We're fully monetized. I like to think we're doing pretty well. And then I go on to Wild Homestead and I see that he only does long form, no shorts, no lives. And every single video gets like 300,000 views. And I'm like, dang, what am I doing wrong? But different types of content, different creators, doing our own thing. But yes, it's a fantastic child. Dawn says, you're bigger than Wild Homestead. Not if we're thinking of the same channel. If we're thinking of Wild Homestead, the same guy, there is a Wild Homestead channel that I think he's got, you know, his 1 million subscribers. And Sandra says, yep, I heard those mushrooms are good. Got them all over the back acreage. Let's take a walk into the forest. Let's go for a little walk, guys. I'm going to turn the Wi-Fi off. If I lose you guys, I apologize. Turn the Wi-Fi off. We'll flip back so there's maybe a little bit, but when I walk into the forest while on Wi-Fi, the signal is not good enough to keep. And so I end up cutting in and out and lose a bunch of you guys. So I'd rather just take it off and hope not to lose you guys. And we'll go hang out into the forest for a second. And Dawn says, yeah, you're a true farmer. We try. So far, I consider us a homestead, but give us 5 years, and I'd like to think we will be a farm, so to say, a small farm. Right now, I call us a homestead because we're not really reselling any of the meat. We are sharing it with friends and family, but there's no resale going on. Once I get up to about that 7 head of cattle, then we'll be reselling. We're gonna start breeding pigs, so we're gonna have lots of pigs for sale. Of course, there are times where you'll catch us on fishing live streams because we got the lake. You might catch some hunting videos, not live streams, because I got banned doing that once, my bad. But you might come out here and see us do the odd foraging live stream, hunting video update. And yeah, this is a section of the forest in here. I've got a giant trail. It goes all the way to the beach on the south side of my property. You can see the leaves are already dropping out here. We are well into the fall now. There's a lot of wild hares, wild rabbits, wild hare. There are a lot of grouse. There's a wild lily running right there. Lily loves when we go for walks in the forest. And pig breeding is difficult. We did this year, we did just seasonal pigs for butchering. But I feel confident, like we breed all the other animals. I feel confident that we'll be able to handle the pigs. We're gonna do Berkshire Tamworths, which are an easier breed to breed. So hopefully we have good luck there. And if not, you guys are gonna get to see the shenanigans that go on. And Levi says, hi. Sandra says, you got such a beautiful place. Thank you. And Dawn says, Canada fall is the true winter. like I said, in another month, we're gonna start having snow. By the start of November, the snow is gonna stay on the ground, and it's gonna stay until like May. So we've got a lot of winter ahead of us. So yeah, this is kind of the forest we got. Over on this tree over here, there's some chaga, which is a medicinal parasitic fungus that goes on birch trees. I'll get a little close up on that. It's kind of a fun thing to know about. It's full of iron, magnesium, potassium. People like to call it like a cure-all, so people will say that it helps fight off cancer. It's got amino acids in it. I don't know if it goes that far, but apparently it's really good for you. So this is a knob of chaga. And so it's orange on the inside and then dark black on the outside. And take a little hatchet. This one, I harvested some off of it last year, which is why some of it's missing. But yeah, chaga. Grows on birch trees. And don't get it confused with a wood burl. I've seen people make wood tea because they'll see like a black knob on a tree and think it's a chaga, but meanwhile it's just a hunk of wood. So I've seen people make wood tea. Yeah, don't do that. And you can start fires with chaga. I've never tried, but I guess. I've never tried. So many people, like I'll break off some, I'll dehydrate it, I'll crush it, and then I'll make tea with it. I don't know if I'm gonna see any mushrooms in this little area right now with all the leaves down. We need a little bit of rain to bring the mushrooms, to make the mushrooms pop out. Let's just take a little walk in here and see what we can see. With all the fresh leaf fall we've had over the last couple of days, it's gonna be a lot trickier to find some mushrooms. But it still smells fresh. It still smells like fall, so I'm sure they're in here. Here's some mushrooms, but I don't know what it is. Let's just flip it over for a second. Doesn't look like a destroying angel, but be careful with the white ones. Sometimes the white ones will trick you. There's one amanita. I bet you we'll find amanita muscaria if we keep going, but there's one amanita. It's a type of mushroom, and it's also known as the destroying angel mushroom. And one mushroom cap is enough to kill a full-size adult. I'm gonna flip you guys around the forest while I read some of the conversation. Sandra asked, do you got any maple? No true maple. I have like this kind of, where is it? Is this it? I don't think this is it. I've got some like, these guys right here. So this is like, it's a type of maple, but it's not a sugar maple. This is more of a, like a shrubbery. These trees don't get very big. They don't get very big, but they've got the maple leaf. But it's not a sugar maple, so you can't harvest syrup out of it. I do harvest syrup out of birch trees, though. You can make birch syrup. And Dawn said, I appreciate you being live and sharing your environment in the farm. From Florida, we can be physically so far away. It is a fascinating world. And Matthew says, with a fire drill and some chaga, you can start a fire. And Dawn said, do you believe in Bigfoot or Sasquatch? We have yet to see him out in the bush. So let's say that one is a yet to be determined. And Barbie Vlogs, welcome back to the chat, Barbie. I hope you're having a fantastic day. And Sandra says, it's rained here a good bit. Dawn says, yikes. Sandra says, get your brain. You're exactly right, both. Sandra, that was confusing. And Lily is running around. Lily loves coming out here because we'll chase around. She loves chasing squirrels. She'll chase wild hare. Fun fact, guys. Wild rabbits, wild hare, we call them European hare, but wild rabbits are not actually rabbits. The rabbits I have at the homestead are a different species than the wild rabbits you have in the bush. These are hares. And so the tortoise and the hare is not the tortoise and the rabbit. They can't actually breed together. They don't reproduce. Just a fun fact. Your pet bunny, your Easter bunny, is not a hare. They can't breed. They can't have babies. And Levi says, it's so beautiful. I love stuff like this. I am in Washington, D.C., and we called it the DMV. Don said, Sandra is referring to my question about Bigfoot. Airs are so magical. And Nick says, that is a fun fact. Hares are so magical. Yes, Lily loves chasing them. We have a whole bunch on the property. We do have a group of fox on the property in the winter. So for those of you who are new to the channel, let me describe my property for you. We are on an off-grid homestead in northern Canada up towards Hudson's Bay. I have 156 acres of private land, and it's a peninsula. A peninsula means, we're coming around, the lake goes all the way around and back, and there's only one road in, one road out. So it's a very, very secluded, private piece of property out here on a lake. I have a beach on the south side of the property. I'm in a nice secluded bay over here. I've got all this forest. I've got pasture fields. I got my old farm tractor here that has a broken transmission that I just haven't fixed yet, and I really need to. Here's my farm tractor. But I need to fix the transmission, so that's a job for another day. Here's the lake. It goes all the way around and back. So it goes all the way around the property and back. This is my own little piece of paradise. It is my oasis. I've been out here homesteading with my wife and kids for 2 full years. In that time, we have done a ton of work. We fully gutted, insulated, and redid the house because it was just a seasonal camp. Put an addition on it. All the fencing and the little outbuildings you see, the log cabin back there, the outhouse, the feed shed, the barn, that's all stuff I've built in the last 2 years. In that time, my health hasn't been perfect. I had 5 surgeries last year, and then I had a spinal surgery 3 weeks ago. That being said, everything's healing really well and I'm feeling really good. But trying to do all of this work and all of this building, what I want to say about that is, if you want to get into this lifestyle, I recommend you do it with a partner. I think, a wife, a husband, a good friend, someone, because you both are going to want to do it, because you never know if your health is going to fail you. If I was trying to lone wolf this, if I was trying to have the cows and the goats and the rabbits and the ducks and the chickens by myself, they would all be dead, because what would I do? What would I do if I had spinal surgery and I couldn't take care of my animals by myself? You need a partner you can rely on, someone who also wants to do this, because it's not always easy. It's a lot of self-fulfillment. It's really good for the soul, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's enjoyable work, but it's still work. Here's one of our rabbits here. Here's Simba. Let's say hi to Simba. Hey, big guy. You can see why he's called Simba. This rabbit here, he's got some lion's head in him. And so he literally has a lion's head. He is our breeder. He is our boy. He is used to breed. He's a big softie. He's a big sweetheart. And he's got that nice lion's mane. Now, I'm technically allergic to rabbits, so this is a terrible idea. Whenever I pick these guys up, Whenever I pick these guys up, I break out in hives. And so we're not actually going to pick them up. We're just going to give them some head scratches. And we'll go wash our hand in the water. Yes, he's a beautiful rabbit. He is a beauty. This is his mom. I'll show you his mom. His mom is in the cage because she's pregnant. And so we'll be having some babies from her soon. This is his mom. So that's where the gray is coming from. And then here is Simba. Just the perfect name for our little lion head rabbit. What a stud, eh? He's also called a lop, L-O-P, because you can see his one ear droops. Hey, get out of his food. We're going to close the door so that the goat doesn't eat all his food on him. But that is Simba. Simba is a little stud. This is Oreo. Oreo is very pregnant. If you look at the side profile, she's got 2 or 3 babies in her. Look how round she is. So we should be having babies off of her within a month. And let me make sure that I am catching up with the full chat. Let's stare at our pregnant goat while I read the chat. And Sandra says, Arkansas and Kansas and Oklahoma. Don said, hair's my bad, got a rabbit here in Florida. Levy says, is it creepy being by yourself? Well, I do have a wife and kids, so no, it's not creepy, but we're so secluded up here. Honestly, the scariest thing in the forest would be running into other people. Now, it is all private land, so I would expect not to, but you know, I have private property signs on the beach on the south side of my property because it's a private lake, but there is another lake connected to it that people can access, and so people will come through a little river channel to get to my property. And so I do put private property signs up on the south side of my property. I've seen people on my property. I don't like that. I have trails that connect to my house, so I don't want random people walking down the trails and coming to my house. That would probably be like the most nerve-wracking situation, is being in the forest and seeing another person in the forest. Because it's private property, you just wouldn't expect it. If I came across some wolves or coyotes, I know they're there, so it's not as scary. But a person, you're not expecting to see a person. It probably is scary for them too, because they probably wouldn't be expecting to see me. And Nick said, hares are completely wild in Texas. I'm going to scroll past a little bit because I got behind, but Du Bois Graves is here. Glad to see you're doing, buddy. Seeing the peaceful Canadian countryside on social media has been crazy. And Matthew said, Simba has a beard. And Du Bois says, Simba, everything the light touches. Don said, love pregnant goats. Bigfoot, facts. It is windy out here. Sorry, when I get on a little bit of a rant and a ramble, I fall behind in the chat, so I apologize. If I missed anything important, just let me know and I will answer your questions. The tough thing about being a live streamer, we're gonna get out of the wind because it's nasty. The tough thing about being a live streamer is that you are trying to both engage with your environment around you while trying to read the chat. And so sometimes one or the other gets left behind, and I'm sorry if it was you. But Dawn says, bro, you inspire me to hey. And Jamaica says, hi, how you guys doing? This lifestyle is a lot of fun. It's very rewarding. We haven't had to buy meat at the grocery store for about a year. All of our milk and dairy for the last 5 months has come from the goats. And so it's been super rewarding. Next year, we're gonna go big into gardening. This year I planted an orchard. So I planted some apple trees, pear trees, plum trees and elderberry trees. And I fenced all that in. And so that one's gonna take a while. That one's probably 4 years away from producing some fruit and apples. In there I planted some little stuff like tomatoes and garlic. But beyond that, we didn't do much of a garden this year. Next year, we'll go hard on the garden. The one tough thing about having farm animals that you free range, because I let all the chickens, here's a chicken right there. I let all the chickens and the goats free range on the property. The cow, I do keep in fencing. But when you're letting all your goats free range, you need to fence in every little garden you make because they will eat it all. And so that's the only thing that's holding me up right now. The reason I didn't do a garden this year is because I was so focused on getting my infrastructure and all my fencing and everything in place. We did pigs for the first time, so that was a bit of a learning experience. My back has been pretty rough, hence spinal surgery 3 weeks ago. And so we decided to push the garden back to next year. We'll go hard on gardening, and hopefully we reduce our food bills even further. Eldon says, any standard bred horse? No horses on the property right now. I am looking at some donkeys. I'm looking at a John that's going to be in an auction this weekend. But I've reached out to a couple people who breed donkeys, and we're looking for one for within the next year, anytime within the next year. Most people are having baby donkeys in the spring or early winter or late winter. And so we'll see what becomes available, but I'd like to get a donkey as a protection animal. We do have bears, wolves, coyotes, foxes on the property. And so it would be nice to keep them back. KJ, I see you there. Welcome back, my friend. Said, I didn't notice that you were live right now. Well, you did notice because you're here, and welcome. So the nice thing about this property being a peninsula is that as long as I go into the bush in the spring before the ice melts, and I bring my bang bang stick, and I let off a few bang bangs as I walk around the bush, it scares all the wolves and coyotes, and they take off to the ice. That's where they feel safest because they can just go. So as long as I do that just before the ice melts, do it a couple times, it scares them all away, and then I don't have to deal with wolves and coyotes all spring, summer, and fall, which is fantastic. That's a huge win. And so I do that every spring. That way we keep the wildlife away. The bears try to come in the fall. And so that's when things get a little dicey. We start getting bears coming down our road, trying to come towards the homestead. My dog does a great job at chasing them back. And as long as we're making lots of noise, trying to push them back, it hasn't been a problem so far. The risky thing is that I breed and I raise my pigs in the forest. My pigs are forested pork. Again, because it's a peninsula, the pigs can't go anywhere. I electric fence off a big area, try to keep them in there, but if they get out, they can't go anywhere. And so bears love pork. Bears love bacon, fun fact. And so if you have bears and pigs in the same area, the bear will eat the pigs. The pigs don't think that they have predators because they're pretty tough. And so they don't realize how scary a bear is. And KJ says, did you already milk the goats? Yes, we're only milking Faye once a day right now. We stopped milking Mimi because she's pregnant and we expect her to have babies in November. So usually what we do is we stop milking the goat 2 months before they have their babies. That's going to let them put on some weight because, milking them burns a lot of calories. And so by stopping milking them, that's going to allow them to put on a little weight, which is going to give them more nutrients for when they have the baby and are on a constant feed. Goats will usually have 2 or 3 babies. Sometimes they'll have 1. When they have 1, it's called a singleton. And you got to do what's called milk sharing. They're kind of designed to have 2 or 3 babies. And so when they only have 1, they produce more milk than the baby can eat, and they can get blocked up. So you should assist them by milking them. So what you'll often do is when the goat gets a little older, you'll let him eat during the morning and day, and then maybe you'll do the milking in the evening. Something like that. You call it milk sharing because they just produce too much milk, which is a good thing. And yes, baby goats. I believe Oreo is going to be the first one to have babies. She's looking really round. I would expect her babies within the next month. In the past, she's always had triplets. So we'll see if we have 3 baby goats or not. And we'll go from there. And Don had said, bro, if I had to name a donkey, I would name it Danielle. You and Daniel. Don says, bears love a lot of weird stuff. Yes, they will eat your fuel lines to your gas tanks and stuff. They find it really tasty. They'll eat the seats. They like the padding in your seats on your ATVs, your quads and stuff. Jack says, if you think a bear is BA, try messing with an angry, frustrated black Spanish bull. I did have to eat my Black Angus cow because he got too aggressive and he tried to kill me one day, and so I ate him. These things do happen. Fun fact, we're all full of fun facts out here today. More people die to cows, than lions and sharks combined per year. Now, that might seem crazy, but if you think about those rodeo bulls with the big antlers, that's a cow. And when you think about how many farmers and how many people have cows, you come into a lot more contact with cows than you do lions and sharks. So the stats make sense. Yep. So anyway, what else do we want to talk about, guys? The chickens keep popping around the corner to stare at me, and it's kind of adorable. Here's a chicken here. Chicken. So yeah, that's Oreo there. So we expect some babies off of Oreo in the next month. Within the next month, I would expect 2 babies. And then what you do is the babies, they're going to exclusively feed off of the mom for the first 2 to 3 months. After 3 months, or when the babies start transitioning to whole food, that's when you can start milking the goat. And so at about 3 months, you can then start milking them. And if you're going to keep your males separate from the females, you can milk them as long as you want. They're going to produce milk until you stop milking them, similar to a cow. And so you can get a lot of good, healthy dairy off of your goats. And then when you want to breed them again, you're good for the first 3 months while they're pregnant. And then just the last 2 months, you want to stop milking them. And Ryan Quinn says, we have Highland cows here in Scotland. They have long hair. I had one Highland, and she was crazy. She liked me, but she hated my wife. And so every time my wife would come to visit that cow would take off running down the field. And there was a few times where this fence divides my two pastures. I've got my right and my left field. There's a fence that comes across at the end over there. That cow would run full speed and jump through the fence. I don't want to say it would jump over because it wouldn't clear it. It would jump through the fence. And so for a couple weeks, me and the cow would just be hanging out, getting to know each other, having a good time. My wife would come to say hi, and that thing would go. So we ate it. We decided to eat it. I have a couple videos, long form videos, if you guys want to see, where I was tracking the cow in the forest because it was winter time, and so the cow would run out, get out of the fence. It would leave footprints in the snow and go into the forest. And so I spent a number of days chasing that cow out of the forest, putting her back in the fenced area. And then sure enough, a couple days later, my wife would call me, honey, I went to visit the cows and she's gone again. Do that enough times and you get put in the freezer. And Jack says, by the way, bulls possess horns, not antlers. Did I say antlers? Did I say antlers? Did I say antlers? I do that all the time because I grew up hunting deer and moose. And so I always instinctively think horns, I think antlers. I say the wrong word all the time. I know what the right word is. I just say the wrong thing all the time. Our cows have been polled, P-O-L-L-E-D, meaning they're antlerless, hornless. See, I did it right there. I did it again. I know what the word is. I swear, I'm not crazy. I'm a little crazy. But yeah, we always have hornless cows. And Matthew said, music, baby, milk, goat. Okay, he's saying baby goat, do, baby goat, do. I was reading the emojis that time, Matthew, and I was getting it wrong. And Don said, you are correct, brother. Charlie said, what we talking about? We're just talking about that farm life, Charlie. Welcome back to the chat. Good to see you here. We were just talking about cattle and cows. So the cow I have in the back field over here, she's a black Angus. And I'm getting two short horns. I've had a Highland, and I had another black Angus. Charlie says, I got to go bye. Take care, Charlie. Some of the goats are hanging out over there. And the cow is way back there. And KJ says, it's almost 4 p.m. for you. You got it, KJ. It is 3:58 p.m. We have been streaming for 78 minutes. I think we'll give it the full hour and a half. We will stream either until my wife comes home because she's out visiting with a friend. So either when my wife comes home or in the next 12 minutes. Either way, we will. That's where we'll call it. So let's keep this conversation going until then. And Dawn says, I love farming. Dawn, I appreciate you joining us, and I hope you subscribe to the channel so that we can make fun of Daniel Kelly together and keep you around in the chat longer. So consider subscribing if you want more good conversations like this. We're constantly growing the homestead, working on new projects. Like I said, I'm a little more boring right now than normal because I can't actually get out here and do some real work. This guy behind me, this come along, this winch system, is because I put my goats in a harness and I actually hoist them to the roof so I can trim their hooves at a good working level. So I'll get them right up here so I can cut their hooves without having to bend over. Again, I've got a bad back, so I got to do whatever I can. And Dawn says, I did subscribe and definitely follow. Thank you, Dawn. I appreciate you. And KJ says, so what did you do today? For the most part, well, this morning I had some friends come over. My wife and I, we cleaned out our rabbit pen, one of them. And so my friend wanted the manure for their garden, so we gave it to them and had a good visit. I had some guys come over from work to catch me up with what's going on in the office while I've been gone. And then we've just been hanging out with the goats and the cows and having a chill day. I don't normally have time to play video games because there's so much stuff to do in the homestead, but I've been having to relax a little more than normal with my whole back surgery. And so I started playing Guild Wars 2 again. I used to play it back in like 2014 when it was still a newer game, and I've been playing again, I'm not a gamer anymore, and so I'm just messing around with the new systems and what's going on, trying to have some fun with that. Yeah, I'm terrible at PvP. I like to think I'm good. I used to think I was good, and I am not good. I am not good. I do not have the skill set I used to have. Not to mention trying to play a competitive game while lying in bed. It's not that easy. But I've been having some fun with it. My wife keeps telling me I'm a teenager again because I'm sitting in my room playing video games. But, I can only do so much in a day while I'm healing, so I got to relax lots. And Dawn says, all good, same to you, brother. Yeah. I think we are going to end the stream a little early. Do you guys want to know why? Because I didn't wash my hands after petting Simba the rabbit, and I just touched my eye, and now my eyes are watering, and now my eye's getting itchy, and so now I need to go wash. And so I'm going to end the stream a little bit early before I start crying openly on live stream because I made a rookie mistake. I was going to go over to the water dish and wash my hand. I didn't. It's this eye. This eye is driving me insane, boys. So we're going to go inside. We're going to have a shower. We're going to relax for a little while. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining, and we will catch up again next time. I appreciate you guys. Matthew says, check out the Patreon more often. I've sent you a couple other YouTube channels to check out. Guys, if you guys want to chat more, check out my Patreon. I have a free chat room where we can go have conversations. And guys, Jeff VQ just joined the chat. Go check out Jeff VQ's channel. He does a lot of different cooking content, and he does some live streams as well. I just recently started joining his channel. So guys, go check out Jeff VQ, and Ernie's Cabin is in the chat. Guys, go check out Ernie. Ernie's got some chickens. He lives a similar lifestyle. He is a very rustic and wholesome channel, so go check him out. And I will talk to you guys more later. Sorry for cutting it abrupt here, but allergic to rabbits and rubbing my face, and now I'm gonna die. See you guys later.